Hi everybody. So thank you for the people that have followed me from the other channel, and thank you to the people that could come across this and that would take the time to listen to the message that I have to deliver today. So let's see what the spontaneous mystery message is about. So it feels that there's a lot of forgiveness that has to be done, and I feel that you've tried to be hard. Maybe you've been taught that. Maybe you had to toughen up because of life circumstances and, what life throws at us. And no matter what the age is and the challenges, there always will be challenges. But the way you kind of approach how you respond to all this is going to make a massive difference. And I feel that in this case, what's been required here is maybe more softness and more patience and a calmer, quieter space where you can just focus on what's going on inside rather than just trying to battle with the outside, knowing that you have really little kind of leverage on the outside and that you might as well just chill and take some time off and realize that not everything has to be sort of under control, so to speak, and it might be something that kind of soothes you and kind of calms down the anxiety, but at the end of the day it's going to do more harm than good, because if you try to control everything and your well-being sort of depends on what's going on outside, you're never done struggling, to be honest, because there will always be something that will bother you and that you will have no control over. And as soon as you will realize you have no control over that, it will turn into a massive blow for your ego and for your sense of self and the safety that isn't there, because you cannot really do much about what's outside of your, realm of control. And it feels that one of the reason why this could be happening at this moment or throughout this period of time you're going through is maybe you're trying to support yourself in a different way, and maybe you had father issues, let's be honest, like daddy's issues. And if you were kind of not raised by your biological father or he passed or anything like that, it's the references that you had that were a sort of father figure for you that represented that. And it feels you basically have to learn how to reparent yourself. And I feel it's a difficult task because when you haven't been taught how to, and even people that come from quite healthy backgrounds and families, there's no manual, there's no guidebook to know how to raise yourself. And it's okay not to know. And I think I'm there to kind of remind you that it's okay not to know. And it's okay to trial and error and to try for yourself and to see what works and what doesn't, just as if you were becoming a parent and the parent of your own child, which is within. And if you already have children or you're about to have them, it's like no one will be perfect. At the end of the day, nobody's perfect to begin with. But it's just this idea that you're going to do the best of what you can with what's in store, with what you've been handed by life. And I feel it's very unhealthy to say, and that's why I don't really adhere with this idea of, everybody can do it, and, this sort of meritocratic way of thinking, because no, we're not handed the same cards, and some are more privileged than others. And as much as we would want everybody to be equal, we're not. And it's a kind of false idea that is being kind of perpetuated that everybody's the same, this and we will treat everybody equally, but to some degree it never really happens, because we all come with a different set of cards, of skills, and of fears, and of challenges, and of things that hurt us. And our history, we carry it with us, but everybody has a different story, and there's no kind of universal formula that you can apply that will work for everybody. It just doesn't work like that from my perspective and point of view, and what I've experimented and what I've seen, witnessed around me. But you can find your own recipe. And I think the whole reading is about how can you find your own recipe for compassion and kindness, and how can you kind of work and navigate this world while having fun doing so, knowing you're going to screw up and make mistake, and kind of free yourself from this sort of, this tyranny of results and of wanting to always get the best result, because sometimes there's no such thing as the best result. There will be something that will more or less be, reliable, and that will more or less suit you. But there's no kind of magic stick that will all of a sudden change everything around for the best. It's work, it's hard work, it's processing things, it's also allowing yourself to feel stuck, accept you're stuck, and from then decide how you can unstuck yourself. But if you're battling against the wind, and if you're not even aware that you're stuck, how the hell are you going to get out of it? So it's all about, hey, how can you build? How can you accept that, things have been spilled, and maybe things have been spoiled, and, didn't work, and maybe you were not able to do what you wanted because you didn't have what was required, because you didn't learn the skill for it. Just as, if you never had a father, obviously it's going to be harder to be a father for a kid than if you had a father figure, but you can always kind of dig into your imagination, your creativity, and your own story to kind of mold and be and become what you feel is the most suitable aspect of you, and how to make that rise to the surface, and how you can use the hurt and everything that didn't work out as a fuel to see how to make things work now. And eventually at some point you will kind of find this, you will be able to take a step back from all of it and realize that after all, you're doing what you can, and you're going to mostly do that your entire life, and there's nothing more to add to that, because all you can do is to be you and to try to find your way through life through making errors and learning from them or not, and repeating it and falling in the hole again until you avoid the hole and you kind of cross the street. I think there's a saying like that. And it's all about how can you add more gentleness to your life. Maybe most of the things that you've been through felt like kind of fated, or kind of a, something that had to happen and that you felt that you had no control over, but now you're more grown up, you're more mature, and it's maybe time to use this experience, use this life of yours to just exist. Maybe there's no fated kind of calling or whatever. Maybe it's just about finding equilibrium and finding what's kind, and how you can be gentle with yourself, and how you can heal the wounds, not by trying to be a warrior that goes to war with everything and everyone and with yourself, but how can you pacify things in a way that you can still be strong and still put boundaries and still kind of, say when something is wrong if you feel it's wrong, but not with an approach of wanting to show the world, to prove your point to the world, because the world, quite frankly, doesn't really care about anything but about life itself on a larger scale. And we're just part of this thing that's called, the human race and Earth, and all we can do is try to, I think the main message and the kind of tool that's given here is find your right from your wrong. Find what you feel is true. Find what is not true for you. Find what feels right and what doesn't. And I know that's a polarized way to say things, but sometimes, you gotta say this is right, this ain't right, and kind of fight for what's right, or at least try to nourish in your life and promote what you feel is right, righteous more than right, actually. And from there, I think when you know what's good parenting for you and what's bad parenting, for instance, I'm taking the child example, but everything will just flow from that, because, what feels right, what doesn't feel right, but not comfortable. I mean, right as in, is it fair? Is it equitable? Or is it not? And kind of try to find your balance. What are your limits? What are your boundaries? What are you willing to put up with? What are you not willing to put up with? And from there, things will start to flow more naturally, I feel. All right. Well, that was a sort of quite a deep message that's not going to be maybe liked a lot, but it was for someone. Thank you for taking this time with me. I do publish English videos every Wednesday and every Sunday, so if you want to check that out, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.